The average American pays $1,200 a year to heat their home. In 1972, an architect in New Mexico built one from 70,000 recycled cans that held 70 degrees, no furnace at all. The Department of Energy funded the research, validated the results, then slashed 85% of the budget. Meanwhile, $18 million in lobbying helped 27 states pass codes making homes like it nearly impossible to build. In the fall of 1973, the world's energy supply was thrown into chaos. OPEC's oil embargo sent crude prices soaring from $2.90 to $11.65 a barrel almost overnight. For American families, the impact was immediate and personal. Heating oil that once cost just 17 cents a gallon shot up to 53 cents in a single season. Headlines warned of shortages, and anxious homeowners lined up to fill their tanks before prices climbed again. The average winter heating bill tripled, draining household budgets and fueling a sense of crisis. News anchors described the situation as unprecedented, with some regions reporting empty fuel depots and rationing. Politicians scrambled for answers, while engineers and architects began to question whether homes really had to be so dependent on fossil fuels. The price shock didn't just raise bills, it cracked open the search for alternatives. Suddenly, the idea of a house that could stay warm without a furnace wasn't just a dream, it became a necessity. In a remote patch of northern New Mexico, Michael Reynolds set out to prove that a house could thrive without a furnace. Working with little more than discarded beer cans, earth, and salvaged lumber, he built what became known as the Thumb House in 1972. 70,000 cans, wired together and mortared into thick, curving walls, formed the backbone of the structure. The design was radical. South-facing windows captured the low winter sun, while the dense walls absorbed and held heat, releasing it slowly through the night. Reynolds reported that even as desert nights dropped below freezing, the interior stayed between 68 and 74 degrees Fahrenheit, without a single watt of conventional heating. The Thumb House was more than an experiment. It became a lived-in proof of concept. Word spread quickly, drawing the attention of architects, engineers, and even government officials searching for answers to the energy crisis. Reynolds' approach challenged every assumption about what a home required to be comfortable. And his prototypes showed that zero heating was not just possible, but achievable with materials most people threw away. Federal support arrived in 1976 when the Department of Energy launched a dedicated passive solar program. With an initial budget of $12.3 million, the agency funded a wave of test homes and demonstration projects across the country. Dr. Susan Miller, a lead researcher, oversaw field trials from Arizona to Vermont, tracking indoor temperatures and energy bills through the coldest winters. The results were hard to ignore. Many test homes slashed heating demand by more than half, and some reported near zero utility costs for months at a time. Reports from the program documented how careful orientation, thick thermal mass walls, and super insulation could keep buildings comfortable with little or no mechanical heat. Architects and engineers pored over the data, and for a moment, it seemed possible that these methods would become mainstream. But in 1982, the program faced an 85% budget cut. Funding for new research dried up, and technical teams were disbanded or reassigned. The official endorsement faded almost as quickly as it had begun, leaving a trove of credible results but little momentum to carry them forward. 4 elements form the backbone of a house that needs little or no heating. The first is orientation. The long side of the building faces true south within about 15 degrees, so winter sunlight pours deep into the living spaces. Builders calculate the angle based on latitude, making sure the sun's low arc in January hits the thermal mass, while summer overhangs block the high sun to prevent overheating. The second pillar is glazing. Only 7 to 12% of the floor area is devoted to south-facing glass, enough to capture heat, but not so much that it escapes at night. The third is insulation. Walls are built thick, sometimes 18 inches, packed with earth, concrete, or dense insulation, reaching R values of 40 or higher. Roofs go even further, with R60 not uncommon. Finally, earth sheltering. 3 sides of the building are bermed with soil, often 3 feet deep. The ground's steady temperature buffers against outdoor swings, stabilizing the interior. When these 4 pillars are combined and tuned for local climate, heating demand can drop to near zero, even in places where winters are harsh. Alan Ortiz, a builder from Colorado, watched as the rules for new homes shifted under his feet. In 1980, the Uniform Building Code introduced Section 24A, which mandated that every concrete wall in a home, even those built for thermal mass, must be reinforced with steel rebar every 24 inches. For Ortiz, this meant an extra $2,700 in materials and labor per house, enough to wipe out the savings from a passive solar design. The code didn't mention energy performance. It simply treated thick, earth-filled walls as a structural risk, regardless of their proven stability. At the same time, the Federal Housing Administration updated its mortgage guidelines. By 1979, the FHA required that any home eligible for a federally backed loan must include a central heating system connected to the gas or electric grid. Builders who wanted to use solar mass or earth sheltering found themselves boxed out of mainstream financing. Ortiz and others petitioned the state, but the amendments spread. 27 states adopted similar language over the next decade. For many, the promise of a house with no furnace became a legal impossibility, not because the science failed, but because the rules changed the game. Utility and builder associations did not sit on the sidelines as passive solar and earth-sheltered designs gained traction. Between 1978 and 1984, electric and gas industry groups poured more than $18 million into lobbying efforts aimed at shaping building codes and public policy. Their message was clear: new homes should include conventional heating systems, tied to the grid, and built to industry standards. This spending did not slow with time. From 1990 to 1995, another $12 million went to campaigns and legislative outreach, reinforcing the idea that homes without central heat, or standard HVAC, posed risks to safety and reliability. These coalitions brought together utility companies, construction lobbies, and code officials, working in tandem to influence state and national regulations. The result was a set of rules that made it harder and often more expensive for builders to pursue alternatives, even when the science supported them. Financial muscle, not technical failure, became the hidden driver behind the barriers that would persist for decades. Heating a home in the United States is not getting any cheaper. In 2023, the average American household paid about $1,200 just to keep warm through the winter. Some states feel the pinch more than others. Colorado's typical bill lands near $90 a month, while in Texas, it's closer to $150. These numbers add up fast, especially for families living in drafty or poorly insulated houses. By contrast, homes built with thick thermal mass walls, deep insulation, and careful orientation have reported heating costs as low as $100 a year, or sometimes nothing at all. The difference isn't just a matter of comfort. It's a question of whether a family spends hundreds or thousands each year, or almost nothing, just to stay warm. Germany took a different approach. In 1990, Wolfgang Feist and Bo Adamson developed the Passivhaus standard in Darmstadt. Their goal was simple: build homes so efficient that a single 200-watt heater, about the power of 2 light bulbs, could keep a family warm through the winter. The Passivhaus formula set a strict limit: no more than 15 kilowatt-hours per square meter per year for heating. By 2022, 12% of all new homes in Germany met this benchmark. These buildings rely on airtight construction, thick insulation, and strategic window placement to trap and hold warmth. The results are clear: homes that need almost no purchased heat, even in northern climates. In 2022, a city ordinance in Texas opened the door for builders to try something different. Emma Torres was among the first to take advantage. Her permit was approved for a home with 18-inch thick walls and a roof insulated to R60. After her first winter, her entire heating bill came to just $95. This was not a theory, it was proof, built from the ground up. Today, homes with 18-inch thermal mass walls and R60 insulation still face code barriers in 27 states, despite the 1981 Minnesota study and German Passivhaus standards proving the math. As household heating costs hit record highs in 2023, what we choose to allow or ban shapes every winter ahead. What do you think?